Thank you very much for being with us. We have a special guest, another interview here in this show. And this time we're going to be interviewing Sharon Rogers, who is the Executive Director of Safe Connection. I live in Navarre, and unfortunately within the last couple of weeks, a tragedy took place here in our area that many of you may have read about or heard in the news. A young lady, 37-year-old mom, Cassie Carli, disappeared on March 27th after she had gone out to conduct a custody exchange with her ex-husband, Marcus Spanavello. This took place about 5 minutes from my house. I live in Navarre, as I said, and the custody exchange took place outside of Juana's Pagoda restaurant, which a lot of people know, right across the Highway 98 in Navarre Beach. They were exchanging, due to a court order, their 4-year-old daughter. Unfortunately, Miss Carli disappeared. She disappeared. She was nowhere to be found. And in a press conference on April 3rd, the Santa Rosa County Sheriff, Bob Johnson, after an investigation also obviously was taking place and people were looking for Carli and for Cassie, he announced that unfortunately she had been found. Her body had been found in a shallow grave in an Alabama barn. The sheriff also announced that her ex-husband, Marcus Spanavello, had been arrested in Tennessee, and he was booked into a county jail there in Tennessee on a count each of tampering with evidence, giving false information concerning a missing persons investigation, and destruction of evidence. And the sheriff also stated that based on the evidence that he saw, and again, this took place on 3 April, the sheriff believed that Marcus Spanavello would be charged with Miss Carli's murder. Her 4-year-old, thankfully, was found doing well with his family, and she has now been relocated, I believe, to the family of Cassie. So again, a tremendous tragedy that took place during this custody exchange. And so we have invited Sharon Rogers here to come over and talk to us about her nonprofit organization. Sharon Rogers, again, is the Executive Director of Safe Connections. Their motto or slogan is protecting children while serving parental bonds. The mission of Safe Connections is to provide supervised visitation and safe exchanges for children affected by abuse, neglect, and domestic violence. Sharon, thank you for coming to join us here at Making Connections. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate it. Obviously, unfortunately, this tragedy took place here very close to us, and some of the services that you offer through your organization are related to the situation. Can you tell us a little bit more about Safe Connections, when it started, where it's located, and that kind of thing?
Yes. Well, this is exactly why we're here, is to try to avoid this kind of situation. Safe Connections started as just a grassroots movement in 1996, was established by a group of people that were concerned about the safety of children in supervised visitation settings and monitored exchange or safe exchange of children for parental custody issues. So we were there to try to stop this, and we modeled ourselves after what we found to be available in other communities, and kind of started just very small. And we've grown, and we started in a church in Shalimar, and we were there for 20 years. But during that time, we grew to Crestview and also to Defuniak Springs, which is in Walton County. And we moved our services to a larger location in Fort Walton Beach. And so 25 years later, we do about 2,000 plus services a year now, providing safety for families. So That's what we do. So we've been really, really disheartened by the circumstances of this, and really wish that Cassie had been under our wing during the time that he needed this.
Sharon, are the services that you provide, the supervised visitation or the monitor exchange services that your organization provides, are those court ordered, or can the individuals involved also ask for it?
Yeah, we don't require a court order. Normally, our families come under court order because in these situations, parents don't always agree, and it takes some entity like a court to kind of force the hand of what might be best for the child. So, but we do not require it. If a family feels like this is a better option and they come to us, we will certainly work with them and try to get both parents on board that this is what's best for their child.
All right. So you've been at it for about 25 years since you guys got started through your church, you said, and now you're in 3 locations. I'll be honest with you. I heard about you all a couple of months ago during some of the networking activities that we go through, but I wasn't really sure about the services that you provided until I went to the website, and obviously totally related to what could have maybe avoided this terrible tragedy. And the locations being in Fort Walton, Defuniak, and Crestview, what are these offices? Are these homes? What is it? What exactly do you have?
Well, they're kind of a combination, because all of them were at one time a home, and but they're now visitation centers. And we have taken that space and made it into a home-like environment so that the children are comfortable, but also a really safe place. So we actually divide the place and have a space where only the custodial parent, or the parent that's bringing the child, would come to, and then the other parent would come to the other side. They're divided by a locked door, and they each have their own separate parking, their own entrance, so that the parents don't have any contact when they're at our center. That's our first goal, is to keep the parents apart for the safety of any domestic violence victims, and also to avoid any interaction that might impact the child that's involved in the situation.
I understand. In the case of Cassie, you would have fallen under the monitor exchange, where you would have had a representative from your organization there during that custody exchange, correct? To ensure that, things were done safely?
Yes, and with the history of this case, we probably would have hired off-duty law enforcement to be there too, as a deterrent, which is something that we do whenever there's extreme domestic violence, which there was in this case. There were several filings. So we would have had that, plus we would have, had, it's like a structured setting. So we wouldn't have allowed the other parent, as this father did, to reschedule and change the location and change the time and do all those kinds of things. And then we're documenting all of that. If there are attempts made to do that, or someone doesn't show up on time, all of that's documented. So we kind of take that control out of it. We become the control of it, and we keep it all kind of very structured. And so the victimized parent knows what to expect and can come safely without the fear of being re-victimized.
And the representatives from your organization that take part in these exchanges and or supervision visitations, are they professionals? Are they social workers, psychologists? What is the background of the type of people that participate in these exchanges or these visitations?
Well, they actually have a very high education level, mostly in social work, much higher than they get it working for a nonprofit like us. But they are well trained. Our goal is to train our staff in child welfare issues, drug and alcohol abuse, domestic violence. So they get a wealth of training so that they're prepared for whatever situations take place. So yes, they're very well trained and well versed in what to do. That's one of our major offerings that we can.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's very important, obviously, for people, for the trust part of things, I guess, and people want to have people that know what to do and how to handle situations. And obviously, as necessary, like you said, you would also call for the security or for the police forces or the sheriff's department to sometimes participate and help you during these exchanges if you feel the need to do that, right?
Right, and that's a huge expense for us, actually, to have off-duty law enforcement, but we do not spare the dime for safety. That is our main goal. So if we feel like there's any danger whatsoever, and monitored exchanges, although they don't take nearly as long, are one of the most dangerous things we do. There's always a lot of heat and a lot of current animosity going on in domestic violence kind of monitored exchanges. So we typically will have law enforcement there for those, just in case. It's an extra layer of security and a deterrent.
Great. Erika, did you have a question?
Yes, the question that I have, hi, how are you? I'm here from Tallahassee.
Huh?
I'm here in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's very interesting what I'm hearing about what you guys do. Of course, I'm not sure if we do have that type of service here, but how a family, I know you say they have background of, abuse or alcoholic or drugs or stuff like that, that of course will be necessary how you serve it, but how a person that maybe thought that because getting a divorce or getting a separation actually know if they need your service. So how are you guys there for the cases that get in the court? How you guys get to people know about your services? So like that they know, because too many people, probably women in this case, are afraid already. So how they get to know you in order to request your service or ask for your service?
Right. Well, since you're not here in our community, I'm going to tell you that there is a central location, the Supervised Visitation Network, which keeps a listing of the visitation centers around the country. But also in Florida, in Tallahassee, there is the clearinghouse for supervised visitation at FSU. And that is a wealth of knowledge for all of the, we all go to that. But in Florida, we're so lucky because they offer such great training and resources there. But in our community, what I do is I try to make sure that the judges are aware that we're here and that the attorneys are aware. I think my big focus now is on the attorneys. I mean, the judges, yes, they make the decisions, but the attorneys have a lot of power in court to ask for these sorts of services. So that is important. We're a small nonprofit. So this kind of notoriety out in the public is huge to us to get to, so that everybody knows and that victims will know. We work closely with Shelter House, which is our domestic violence center, and they know about our services. So they will refer. We try to go to shelter. We try to go to domestic violence hearings and put our information out and make sure that people that are victims of domestic violence know that this is available so they can push for their attorneys to ask for it. Or if they're representing themselves, which is very often the case, they can ask the judge for it. So there are a lot of different avenues to it, but there are also a lot of roadblocks. And so this is extremely valuable to us because we have 3 centers and we have very small, limited staff. So getting the word out, it is hard, and it's so important. In this case, really drove that home, how important it is to make sure people know we're here.
Great.
Sharon,
and how you get to other like a corporation, business and stuff, how they can help you, because you say you are a non-profit organization and you are short handlers, so you need volunteers, you need, how that works for you?
Yes, we need volunteers, board members. We need people that are interested in this and have a passion for this. We also need funds. I mean, like any nonprofit, we need funding to help keep us going. And so we have a website which we can be reached, and that's safe-connections.org. But they can also call us, and I'm happy to give out our phone number if
Go ahead.
that's okay. It's 850-609-1850. And my name is Sharon Rogers, and I will talk to anybody at any time about anything that they want to do, because I know people do want to help and they want to find solutions. And we're driven by that. We started trying to meet needs, and we continue to try to do that. That's our goal.
Sharon, on the Hispanic side of the house, obviously there may be a language barrier that may take place with the couple that may be meeting you, or the wife, or whatever. Do you have a need for bilingual employees and or bilingual volunteers that speak Spanish and English?
Absolutely, both, because we do want to meet that need, and that does happen. And those tend to be some of our more vulnerable victims. They have several different things going against them. So yeah, we do need that, and we can't use like some organizations might, for some things, use a family member, or somebody that's closely connected. We need somebody that is outside of that. So we absolutely need volunteers to help us with translation, but we do not turn anybody away. We will find a way to help anybody, even if there's a language barrier. We will overcome that.
Thank you very much. Let me real quick say some things in Spanish here for people that are maybe watching us here when we put it out in the air. Estamos hablando con la señora Sharon Rogers. Sharon Rogers es la directora ejecutiva de la organización Safe Connections, y ellos ofrecen servicios de supervisión durante las visitas en intercambios de custodia entre parejas que están divorciadas o están pasando un proceso de divorcio o de violencia doméstica, en la cual se requiere que el intercambio de custodia de los niños necesite supervisión, y ellos ofrecen ese servicio. También ofrecen servicios de cuando los padres necesitan ver al niño. Tienen hogares y oficinas en las cuales ellos pueden atender a las parejas por separado, y para que el uno o el otro vean a sus hijos también. Entonces son servicios muy importantes que ellos ofrecen a la comunidad hispana, tanto como a la comunidad norteamericana o cualquiera. Y ellos no tienen muchas personas que hablan el idioma español, entonces están buscando personas bilingües para que les apoyen, ya sea voluntariamente o tal vez como empleados, porque estos servicios son muy importantes para tratar de evitar situaciones como la que acaba de pasar en Navarre. Muchos de ustedes tal vez hayan visto las noticias en la cual una señora de 37 años que estaba intercambiando a su niña de 4 años con su ex esposo aquí en Navarre, en Juanas Pagoda, desapareció durante esa mañana cuando intercambiaron a la niña, y lastimosamente el 3 de abril se anunció en una conferencia de prensa que el cuerpo de la joven había sido encontrada en una granja en Alabama. Lastimosamente fue asesinada por el esposo. Y los servicios que esta agencia ofrece tal vez pudieron haber evitado esa situación, porque podrían haber estado ahí presentes durante el intercambio de la niña para asegurarse que todo saliera bien. Ese es el tipo de servicio que ofrece Safe Connections. Se encuentra en el internet. Vamos a ponerlo a la página web para que sepan todos que existen. Tienen oficinas en Fort Walton, de Phoenix Springs y Crestview. Sharon, thank you very much for coming in. Very important, like you said, to get the word out on these type of services. I know you are a nonprofit, so hopefully, people will also hear it and want to help you financially through a donation, tax deductible donation, as it is, and also Hopefully some volunteers will also come out and help during your events when you fundraise. Also, hopefully part of your board and other things, especially obviously after this tragedy that has taken place in Navarre. Any final words that you would like to say?
Oh, I'd just like to say thank you, David, for getting us this kind of audience that will know now that there is safety for them in this community, and that we're here for them, and that's what we do, is to try to provide safety for people that feel unsafe when they're exchanging their children, or for any reason. Just give us a call, and we'd like to try to help you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Have a good evening, and we'll hope to talk to you in the near future also, see how things are going.
All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
We're going to be right back.
Do you want to advertise to thousands of Hispanics and non-Hispanics in Northwest Florida, and Southern Alabama?
¿Quieres promover tu empresa y producto a miles de hispanos y no hispanos?
Connection is your most cost-efficient way to do so.
Conexión es tu solución.
We are the largest English and Spanish publication in our region. Our primary mission is to inform, guide, and educate our readers via interesting content.
Somos la publicación mensual en español y en inglés de la más grande distribución en toda la región. Además de las 5,000 copias en papel, tenemos activas las redes sociales, incluyendo Facebook, Twitter e Instagram, y también por Internet.
Conexión is your bridge to connect you to the growing Hispanic market in the region. Call us.
Llámanos.
Hey, check it out. Huh. What happened to that guy?
Hey, get that sign back up! You're not alone. Together we stand. I'll be by your side. You know I'll take your hand. When it gets cold and it feels like the end, there's no place to go. You know I won't give in. No, I won't give in. Keep holding on, 'cause you know we'll make it through, we'll make it through. Keep holding on.
Este ha sido Making Connections Virtual Edition, el programa Haciendo Conexiones, edición virtual. Nos vemos en 2 semanas.